Hey everybody, it's Joric. Welcome back. I hope you're doing great wherever you are in the world. I have a proposal or maybe a proposition for you, something to think about or a point to ponder. If you're going to be looking to move overseas and wherever that is, or from another country, it doesn't have to be overseas, from one country to a new country for retirement, and you're looking at what the tax laws are, how long you have to be in a certain country before you become a tax resident, what some of the rents and prices are for property. Maybe you're not you don't want to jump into the deep end and move permanently someplace. You still want to have a base in your home country. An option, and I think this may become a trend with people in the future, is you don't move permanently to a new country, or at least to where you're going to be a tax resident. Where we moved from the US to Portugal, 183 days, become a tax resident of Portugal. But where I'm going with this is an idea of you still keep your property in retirement in your home country, you're still paying taxes, you still have health care in your home country, but maybe you go for, let's say, 2 to 3 months, 3 months twice a year, 89 days, let's say, to a place that you really like. So you're there almost 6 months, or maybe you're there 2 months at a time, 3 times a year. So again, you're at that 6-month mark, but not there long enough to become a tax resident. And doing short-term rentals, so booking something 2 months at a time or 3 months at a time, where maybe you're going throughout that country and you're booking 1 or 2 weeks at a time at different places. That may be a way for you to scratch the itch of wanting to live abroad and live someplace else without having to fully commit to it and worry about, taxes and other things. That may be something that might be more of a trend than people that are moving elsewhere. And then more often than not, people move back to their home country or move someplace else. And part of it, is because of the expense of moving. Yes, some people may say, I don't want to make that kind of commitment. I want to kind of tiptoe into moving someplace else. And a great way to do it is to spend a few months, a couple of times a year, and really getting immersed over, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 years. And that way, you're not paying taxes in this other country. You're being able to enjoy an extended vacation 2 or 3 times a year, but then you always come back to your home country. And you can always buy health insurance if you need to, depending on where you may go, so that way you have some protection if you happen to need it while you are abroad on this temporary basis. But you don't have to go through the immigration, you don't have to go through getting a visa. There's a lot of the bureaucracy that I'll say is getting worse everywhere that you avoid. And so there's some peace of mind in that, but also there's some stress of finding places to stay, trying to negotiate the rents for a short-term property. That is something that does come into play. But I'm intrigued. It's something that, as my wife and I have talked about, retirement, and maybe not moving anyplace else permanently again to where you become a tax resident. Maybe we go to Portugal and we're there for 4 months and then we go someplace else. Or maybe we come back to the US for 3 or 4 months and then we go someplace else for a few months. That's where we're kind of leaning towards, to where we become I'll say not quite residents or tax residents. And when I say Portugal, we'll go there for, let's say, maybe 2 months at a time, twice a year. So that way it's 4 months in total, but 60 days at a time. So that way it's a tourist visa. We're not overstaying our welcome, and we're just enjoying the country without having to commit tax-wise, financially to that. What do you think about that? What say you about maybe this different approach to retirement as opposed to this long-term getting the visa, in this case D7 visa if you're thinking Portugal, becoming a tax resident, getting the private health care, securing a lease for at least 12 months, if not longer, it seems to me that this may be a way to be able to get around that, because as more people are reaching out and thinking about moving abroad to different countries, more people are retiring and moving out of their respective country and into other countries as people have more financial mobility or just want a different life and culture and lifestyle. But I'm curious about that because it's something that is intriguing to me. And I've reached out to a couple of people that are about 5 years away from retirement, and I asked them a couple of scenarios. The retirement visa, go permanently, become a tax resident, live there, full time, or, this in and out for extended months, still within that tourist 90-day visa, but not committing all the way to someplace. And I think that might be something that is doable and more of a trend. I may be full of what too, but I'm curious, what are your comments on what I'm proposing here of going for less than 89 days a couple of times a year or a few 60-day trips? I like that idea because it gives us some flexibility. What do you think about that? Is that something that would appeal to you? Or if you're going, no, if we're going to move someplace, we're going to commit and we're going to go through all the process, the bureaucracy. We're not going to sort of go back and forth on or hem and haw on something. I'd really like to hear your comments below. Please message me. I'd love to get some conversation brewing. As always, thank you so much for watching and enjoy your travels.